T-Money went and visited the border today with Governor Greg Abbott, and boy, did he have some stuff to say. Can you guys already think of what he was going to say? Oh, Biden's border policy is a failure. Very good. Trump visits U.S.-Mexico border, claims Democrats are running a disinformation campaign. No, it's not a problem, even though we see people just crossing it all the time, and there's nothing we're allowed to do except for make sure that they're nice and comfortable in their own detention facilities until they get shut down at the end of August, because that's the quickest that constitutionally Abbott's allowed to close them down, because, hey, at least one party follows the Constitution, right? Former President Donald Trump on June 30th visited the U.S.-Mexico border for the first time since leaving office and accused Democrats of running a disinformation campaign around their border policies. Since leaving office in January, Trump has repeatedly criticized the Biden administration's policies and messaging, saying that they have led in a surge of illegal crossings. But while visiting with Texas Governor Greg Abbott, the former commander-in-chief appeared to deploy a new narrative. Oh boy. They're getting killed on the border. And so now they're saying, oh, we've got a problem. So let's blame the sheriffs. Let's blame the governors. Let's blame everybody else but them, Trump said, describing Democrats' messaging of late as a disinformation campaign. I love this, okay? Spin their tactics against them. Oh, okay, you want to accuse Trump and the fellow Republicans of running disinformation campaigns, spreading the big lie out there? Fucking flip reverse it on them. Hold them to their own standards. They're the ones who every time that they make a proclamation, oh, Trump's dealing with Ukraine, oh, he's dealing with Russia, guess what it all comes out as? Oh, Democrats were actually dealing with Ukraine. Oh, actually Democrats were dealing with Russia. Yeah, Trump, well, you're just enriching your family with the office. Oh, what's that? Hunter Biden? I don't know, that name rings familiar. So yeah, fuck them. Make them hold up to their own fucking mythological standards. They want to claim to be the party of the moral high ground. Well, guess what? You ain't got a fucking leg to stand on. Sorry, Greg. Former president's visit to the Texas side of the border comes as Republicans continue to criticize Democrats and President Joe Biden's administration on border security and the increase of Border Patrol apprehension in recent months. According to the recent data provided by Customs and Border Protection, more than 180,000 people were arrested after illegally crossing the border in May 2020. Well, actually, we got some more information about how many people have actually crossed the border since about the 3/4 of the way through 2020, and it comes from CNN of all places. More than 1 million migrants arrested at the U.S.-Mexico border since October. Remember, okay, there was that bipartisan infrastructure deal, and I made the claims that, yeah, I'll more or less just ran with what Jack Posobiec also said. There's a split within the White House right now, okay? You got Team Biden, then you got Team Harris. The only reason that CNN would be running with this is because they're definitely on the side of Team Harris. Yeah. They were all right with Biden for the time being, but who was always in every picture that's over there? Who was always attached to that fucking headline whenever Joe Biden did something good? And because all of this stuff is Biden's border policy, and like you can see here, yeah, what are they criticizing? Biden's handling, the Democrats' handling, okay? What do they need? Oh, they need a new face out there, okay? You put somebody who's ethnically diverse, you put a strong woman of color out there, and she'll know how to deal with the border. Don't bother mentioning her failed trip down to South America, where she was also taking a page out of Trump's book by just saying, listen, I know you want to come, just stay home. Stay home. It disappeared into the middle of the night now, didn't it? Exactly, that's why they're running stories like this. More than 1 million migrants have been arrested after illegally crossing the U.S.-Mexico border since last October, according to two U.S. Department of Homeland Security officials, surpassing the 2019 border crisis tally with 3 months still left in the fiscal year. Lord have mercy. The Biden administration, see, very, very important. But if you go to the White House, or if you go to anybody at the White House, they want to have it referred to as the Biden-Harris administration. But this is CNN. This is a brand new fucking article. But yet it's just the Biden administration here. Interesting. We always like to read between the lines, especially when you're on one of these leftist outlets. Has been bracing for a high number of arrests along the U.S. southern border since early this year. In March, Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas estimated that the U.S. was on pace to encounter more individuals on the southwest border than we have in the last 20 years. Now, why would they be doing that all of a sudden? That's weird. Federal border officials have not yet released its June arrest numbers. Oh, but they will soon. Trust me, sometime next week, I'd imagine. But they have said encounters of the fiscal year have already hit 1 million now. When those were taken into account, while the number of border arrests remain high, many of those apprehended and repeated crossers as a result of the pandemic-related policy. Customs and Border Protection declined to comment on the preliminary data until the official monthly numbers are released. The 1 million figure was reported by Reuters. That's not even the best of this. No. Okay, you think that they'd be throwing a celebration. Oh, cool, we got 1 million brand new illegal aliens that are going to be strewn across the country to every law-abiding taxpayer's behest. Are they going to be slowing it down? Are they going to be taking action on that? Are they going to be taking the lead of what Trump is saying? God, no, of course not. Biden's DHS may release 100,000 more migrants into the U.S. annually. He's got a plan to slow it down. No, it won't quite hit that 1 million, but 100,000? Okay, that's good. President Joe Biden's Department of Homeland Security is weighing a plan to release 100,000 more migrants into the United States interior annually, in addition to the thousands released monthly from DHS custody. Oh, cool. So that's on top of what's already being released. Ain't it great? The proposed DHS plan, first reported by Axios, would expand on the Biden administration's massive catch and release operation, where border crossers are routinely put into DHS facilities or migrant hotels for the first few days after being bused or flown into the U.S. interior. Ugh, I was just talking. Somebody dropped a comment on one of the recent videos that was saying, yeah, now guess what? Because Greg Abbott is closing down the facilities at the border, they're just going to be strewn across the rest of the country. Well, it looks like he read your comment there, buddy, and now he's just going to be taking you up on that offer. Something that they've already been doing as well. There's been reports of the planes that I forget where they've been flown to. Illinois sounds familiar, but I could be wrong on that. But they're going all throughout the interior of the country. So Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas, yeah, they're facing the brunt of this. But they aren't going to be the only ones suffering under this idiotic fucking policy. You remember when Trump had stay in Mexico? Okay, if you guys are going to come, we're going to kick you back over and you can stay there, okay? Wait for your papers to process. Okay, wonderful. If you're good people, if you're great people. There's some people that come over, some immigrants that come over. They're some of the best people out there. We want you here. But if you're a part of the MS-13 gang, we don't want you. You're like a snake. Do you want me to read you the poem? That's a good plan, okay? Because it's, in case you guys didn't know this, it's illegal to cross the border and try to settle in the country without going through the proper channels. I know, right? If you're a Democrat, you probably don't know that. So it's always important to just, help people out if they're lacking the information. About 100,000 migrant family units and border crossers between 18 and 21 years old would benefit from the proposed plan, getting released into the U.S. interior via tracking methods that provide little to no enforcement in terms of making sure such border crossers show up in their asylum hearings, which is stupid. That's what Trump tore a strip off Biden for at the presidential debates. Catch and release is, as the French say, fucking retarded. Because okay, your crime is crossing into the country that you want to get to, but yeah, we'll set you up with a court date. We won't send you back, though, because we want you to come to that court date. We'll just go ahead and release you into the country. Are you going to put like a tracker or like an ankle bracelet or something on there? No. We can't put him in jail right now for committing a crime or committing a felony. But yeah, no. We got to let you roam about the country, and hopefully, maybe, potentially, you'll show back up for your court date if you're feeling good about it. Or as Trump said, only the stupid ones turn back up, which is exactly the case. And yeah, Trump wasn't alone. Like you said, Greg Abbott was there as well. And then there were some other Republican lawmakers that were there as well. And GOP congressional members watch migrants cross southern border hours before Trump arrives. What can you do, right? You think Boebert's just going to take out her concealed carry and start fucking shooing people back? That's also illegal. You can't fucking do that. Republican congressional members inspected the border crisis Wednesday morning and found migrants crossing into the United States just hours before former President Donald Trump arrives for an official visit. A political reporter tweeted a video of Representatives Lauren Boebert and Mary Miller of Illinois. Okay. Walking with captured migrants who said they came from Guatemala. President Biden previously removed the Remain in Mexico policy Trump enforced, which kept migrants in Mexico while they sought asylum. Another video depicts Representative August Pfluger speaking with a border officer who explained during a conversation that he must make sure the group of migrants who just crossed haven't left any kids in the woods or the brush. That must be a fun job. Fucking Christ. What horrific shit they see. Additional photos from the early morning show migrants apprehended at the border while Republican congressional members seek to place a spotlight on Biden's open border policies. The reason for the lack of focus on the border security by the Biden administration is unknown. Oh, we can read between the lines. He wants some people that are going to vote for him and given a path to citizenship, man. Which is also just a fool's errand because the people who tend to flee those really shit countries are fleeing because of the really shit policies that their government put in place. And as we've seen with the swing in the Cubans in the Miami area, they ain't voting for Democrats, and they can smell your shitty policies from a fucking mile away. But asking Biden to really properly explain a situation is problematic in its own accord. Since we got a picture of Lauren Boebert right there, we got a little interesting story pop out about this one as well. And it kind of tangentially links into a couple of different stories that are floating around there right now. It comes out, and it looks like her, as an elected member of the United States Congress, can block people on social media. Something that the President of the United States was not allowed to do. This is interesting. It's almost like the court that decided and ruled on this same decision was suffering from a bad case of Orange Man bad. A federal judge has sided with Representative Lauren Boebert in the First Amendment lawsuit following a two-time congresswoman to continue blocking a critic on her personal Twitter account. Boebert, a vocal supporter of former President Donald Trump, blocked former state representative Brianna Botello, a Democrat, after Botello criticized Boebert's remarks in the days leading up to the January 6th breach of the United States Capitol. Is that how far back we're going now? I can't wait until we get to a point where it's the January 6th aggressive picnic, calling her a seditionist and demanding that she resign. Well, guess what, bitch? If she resigned, you wouldn't get put into her place, so stop being jealous. Botello sued on the basis of First Amendment rights, arguing that Boebert's Twitter block was not an act of private individual, but an act on behalf of the state, because Boebert uses her personal Twitter account for announcements related to her work in Congress. Fair enough, that was the basis of the lawsuit for Trump, so if it's good for the goose, it should be good for the gander, right? Judge Danielle Domenico, a Trump appointee, rejected Botello's request for a preliminary injunction that would have forced Boebert to unblock her. I can't believe as a society we're at the point where we're suing people over the right and the ability to block people. Guess what's stupid? You pull up an incognito tab or you just sign out of Twitter and you can still see her fucking tweets, you tard. Christ on ice. Domenico said that Botello failed to prove that Boebert's blocking of her on Twitter was a state action and therefore didn't have standing to pursue a First Amendment claim. I'll be interested to see where this lawsuit goes, because we've seen the one for Trump, the exact same lawsuit, got up to the Supreme Court, but then they kicked it on the fact that, oh, it's moot now, he's not president anymore. Well, thanks. You could have avoided this entire situation from happening. You could have laid down the precedent that, yeah, okay, either elected officials can block people on Twitter or they can't. You could have just set it out very black and white, okay? And we wouldn't have all of these fucking contradictive rulings happening. I know that was a weird way to get to this one, but yeah, it all just kind of links back up with Trump now, doesn't it? It's almost like the news cycle knows exactly where clicks are generated. It's with the orange man, not with the old man. Let's talk about something I've been not really avoiding for a while, but just there's been a whole bunch of other more interesting news. But we got to talk about the COOF and this new variant that might be out there. It's fucking retarded. Let's leave it at that. Thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Catch y'all later.